In this video, I'm going to show you how to use Cloud Extender to create an instance profile and then use the instance profile to launch an instance inside a VPC container. Here, a VPC container has been created. To create an instance profile, you can either use Instance tab under Profile and Create, or you can use Wizard. Select the Instance Wizard. Select Create a Cloudx Instance Profile and launch an instance. This is going to be my project. Say the instance profile is going to launch an instance for my web server development. So let's give a profile name web server dev. And I'm going to use a Ubuntu Linux machine for my web server development. In this video, I want to show you how to use Cloudx elastic ports to access the instances. Since this is going to be a web server, so I need TCP port 80, and since I'm going to do development, I need to SSH into this server for my development. So I add TCP port 80 and TCP port 22 as my elastic ports. What's going to happen is this tells Cloudx to allocate a Cloudx elastic ports to map into these two ports respectively, and then for me to use. So I'll uncheck using elastic IP, and this instance is going to run on the private subnet. So now the instance profile has been created. Now, once the instance profile is created, you can use that profile to launch instances over and over. So for the first instance, let's say we call this my server, okay? And I want to launch my server in container project 1, and this is use the instance profile that we have just created. In a key pair, I use a key that I have stored. For the security groups, I'm going to choose a default. Now the instance is being launched in AWS. We can take a look in AWS. Let's refresh this. Refresh EC2 screen. As you can see, a instance is being launched. Refresh 2 times, and this is my server instance. So if we come back to Cloud Extender console, the instance has been launched, and here's the instruction that tells us how to access instances. So let me show you how to do that. It says this is the instance ID. To access the instance ID on port 22 means a SSH port, you use this IP address with this port number. So now I come to SSH party and use the key pair that I have created earlier. Now to SSH into this web server instance, I use the address that it tells me. And the port number for SSH now become Cloudx automatically allocate this. Oh, I'm sorry, I used the wrong port number. So it should be 1201 for SSH port 22. So for port 22, the Cloudx assigned port is 12,001. There you go. Because this is a Ubuntu instance, the logging is Ubuntu. For AWS EC2 images, the logging is EC2-server. Now, because I'm going to do a web development, let's see, I need to get Apache installed. So now I'm installing Apache server package. Now the Apache server has been installed. Let's say I do my development. Let me run a test, make sure I can access. So remember, this is the one, the mapping address here. To access port 80, use this address with this port. There you go. This is your Apache server. You can come back and do your development on that instance. So let's say you are done with development and now you want to show your colleagues or other people your web server, your beautiful web server. But you don't want them to use this mapping because not everybody is familiar with these specific mappings. So you want to give them a generic address. So you can come back to set up a Cloudx Elastic IP. I'll show you how to do that. You can come here, launch instance. You can do that through Wizard, or you can do that through instance accessing method. And you can set up a new access. But in this case, I'm going to use Wizard to show you. You can do next. So set up access to instance. In this case, so now the instance come back. This is my server. So now I'm going to set up a Elastic IP. This is for other people to use. So as you can see, a Cloudx instance in AWS can be accessed in different ways for different purposes. So now the association or the assignment is finished and it says use this IP address to access this instance, which is my server. So now I can come here. So for other people, now you can advertising, hey, this is my web server and this is the web server IP address. There you go. You access the same web server with the two different methods. That's it. Thank you.